Okay, hello. I think I can hear me. Yes. Thank you so much for coming to another session of my Monday to Wednesday classes here. As always, just want to introduce you guys the main information about my website. So our website is baribasic.com. If you can visit our website, you will find all our information. Like you can go to our Instagram account. Consider following us on Insta so you can get notified when the class starts. And we also keep putting a lot of information here on our Insta account, so please do that. And then our live classes, obviously the Twitch channel where you're watching right now. The Twitch is where I do my live classes, so thank you for joining. That is the link here. Second, all our old recordings, all the old classes, they're recorded, and every 24 hours we put all the classes on YouTube, because sometimes your internet may be slow and sometimes Twitch does not work properly. Sometimes the live may not work, but don't worry, every class we have done, everything is recorded and it is uploaded on YouTube. So all the classes 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 classes have happened so far. Today is our 9th class. So our YouTube channel, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel. If you subscribe to it, whenever a new video is posted, you will find out about it. So that is our YouTube channel. And finally, we have our online textbook. This is the textbook that I'm using every day in our classes. We'll be using that today as well. And finally, we have our Discord. Discord is like an online group where you can you can join our Discord group and you can ask questions to me, you can ask doubts, you can discuss. We even give advice about mental health, personal issues, and career and job questions and so on. So please consider joining our Discord server for asking questions, doubts, and all that. Okay, so that all this information is available on the website. So let's start with our tutorial website, which is available at tutorials.baribasic.com. So what we do here, for those who are coming in, hi Altaya, very good morning. Hello everyone. Altaya is here, is one of my kind of like an online gaming friend and is now a regular student for me. Hello Altaya, welcome to everybody. So first thing is, our textbook is available at tutorials.baribasic.com, and in the tutorial, if we go here to web tutorials, and you have a link called fully built demo. Okay, so for those of you who are coming for the first time, this is what we are trying to build. I'm trying to teach you the very basics of programming. According to me, a basic web app developer should be able to build a simple responsive website. Now look at this, as the size of the windows it's small, like the kind of content keeps moving and getting adjusted to the screen size. That is called being responsive. And this app also has basic navigation like this. You can go from one page to another. That is there. So that is basic navigation. And this app also, hello Priyanka, welcome to the class. Thank you so much for joining us. So this web app also consumes a API server. Okay, in an API server, it is able to call API endpoints both with token and without token. So this is what I call a basic web app developer. This what you see on the screen is what I'm trying to teach you to build. Now you look at this, and if you think you already know how to build this, then great. You don't need to attend these classes, because this class is not for someone who already knows how to build this. But if you are new to programming, if you're new to web app development, then yes, these classes are for you, because that is what we are trying to build. And our classes happen every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that is when it happens. The exact time, depending on your country, visit our website or our Insta channel, you'll get the time when the class happens live. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So welcome with our introduction. Let's start. Now yesterday, in session number 9, yesterday is actually session number 9. Today is session number 10. So what we did yesterday was, we were talking about a very simple JavaScript code. Now what I'm doing here is, since the beginning, what I'm trying to kind of go through the textbook here. Now according to the textbook, let's go to my textbook here. Now I've covered these topics. Though this is where I am right now. I am in the JavaScript chapter. So I am trying to give you a very hello Davya, hi, good evening, thank you for joining us. So what I'm doing here is, I am trying to give a little bit of introduction. First I started by talking about the basics of HTML. I did that. Then I gave a very short intro to CSS. I did that, and now I'm in the middle of giving a short intro to JavaScript, and we started that already. So this is the chapter we are referencing. So let me close all these extra, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the new recorded videos. Please follow us on Instagram so you get all these small tidbits and everything. So yeah, please do join us on Instagram also. So yeah, coming back, let's open up this chapter. Let's go on my website here. So let me open up the chapter here. So yeah, so this yesterday I already talked about this, and let me go directly to the code pen here. So I have my code pen. This is what we are trying to achieve. This is what we are trying to achieve here. So as I always do it, let me keep the code on the left side. Let me keep this. Okay, it's blocking me. So let me put this on the left side here, and then let me take the output, and let me take one second. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me take the output on the right side and the code on the left side. So this is what we are trying to do today. So a very simple introduction to JavaScript. Okay, so what is the introduction? We talked about this yesterday. So when you click on this image, the image changes. That's it. Remember what we talked about, the three things of HTML, web page, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is about structure, CSS is about appearance and styling, and finally JavaScript is like the brain, which talks about action and reaction. So in this example, the action is I'm taking my mouse and clicking on this photo, and the photo is changing. I click on it again and the photo changes again. So action and reaction. So that is what JavaScript does. It reacts to your action and accordingly does something. Okay, so that is what we started yesterday, and we also started writing our own code. Now what I'm trying to do is, already we have the output. I'm trying to recreate this output again as part of this class, and also explaining the different code components and so on. Now yesterday, let me open that this one again. Let me go to code pen again. Let me open yesterday's code. Where is that? Let me go to my dashboard, and I have my pens here. Yeah, this is yesterday's practice panda. Yeah, we were using panda photos. Now here I use the beach photos. I like the ocean, I like the beach, so I used when I was writing this textbook, I used those images. So let's go ahead and open up yesterday's code pen. So I have my yesterday's code pen here. So this also I'm keeping on the left side. Let me open the output here. Alright, there we go. So now I have this one here. So I got the panda output. Where is that? Yes, the panda output on the right side, and I have the code on the left side. So yesterday we were able to get this much done, and let's go back to my PowerPoint. Now yesterday I talked about this specific line. Where is that? Yes, this line. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so those of you who missed yesterday's class, you can check out the recording on YouTube. Now here what I did yesterday was I took one line of code, okay, and here the important thing is this is like the variable. I talked about that here. It's like a variable, and I talked about this, the assignment operator. I spoke about this, the document, built-in functions, user-defined functions. I talked about that, and finally I talked about document.getElementById, what this element is, what this ID is, and finally when I ended the class, I was like, okay guys, this here, get element by ID, the name of the tag, the name of the DOM element, the name of the HTML element, this here is matching with the ID we put in the IMG DOM element or tag. So this is what we stopped yesterday. So what is happening here is, now this is JavaScript. Okay, let's take this here. Okay, let me create a new slide here. Okay, so let me take that one line. Okay, so let me take this and put this here, and now let me take the HTML code, because JavaScript interacts with HTML code. Okay, so let me take this one here and put it here. Alright, so here what I want to bring to your attention here is, see, this code is JavaScript and this code is HTML. So JavaScript and HTML, they have to interact with each other to get things working. Why? If we look at our output, you see our output here. So this is your web page. What you see on the screen is all HTML. Okay, how do you know it? If you right click on this and you have an option called view page source. You go to view page source, you see all the HTML. Okay, so HTML is what you see. So we need to manipulate what you see on the screen, and that manipulation happens from JavaScript. Now I'm repeating this again and again because I'm talking to beginners, and I'm hoping everybody who's in the class is a beginner, and I'm kind of stressing this point that JavaScript is a separate file and HTML is a separate file, and they talk to each other. I'm just trying to stress that point, and hence the constant repetition. Now I won't be repeating this part again and again in future classes, but this is your first time using JavaScript, so I'm going to kind of repeat that many times. Okay, so now let's look at the code here. Now let me look at the practice code pen. So I have my practice code pen here. This is my practice code pen, and this is my output so far. Now if I go to HTML, you'll see that I have this panda image here. Okay, so this is in a file called HTML. You can see here on the top left corner, it is in a section called HTML. Now when I go to, I'm not doing CSS right now, so we can ignore that. Now if I go to JavaScript, I don't have that code right now because I haven't added that yet. Okay, so let me go ahead and add that code. So what I want to do here is I want to talk to my HTML image. Now the image I'm talking about is this, and it has an ID called image1. So let me go to JavaScript. As I keep saying, if you can copy paste your code, please do that. So I'll go to my sample code here. I have my JavaScript. This is the code I wrote, so I can copy from myself. So let me do that. So this is my code, and I'm taking it and putting it in my JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript file. It's a separate file, and here what I'm trying to do is I'm creating a variable called temp image1, and I'm using the document object. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'm using this function called get element by ID. So here, what is the element we are trying to get? We are trying to get this element called img, which is the DOM element or just element, and this is what I'm trying to pick up, right? You know, and then now when I'm picking up something, I need to know its name. So for example, I mean, I keep seeing, now I have two mouse here. I have my Apple mouse, sorry, I have my Apple mouse, I have my Windows mouse here, right? So if I want to pick up the Apple mouse, I know that is the Apple mouse because it looks like this, right? And if I want to pick up my Windows mouse, I know, you know, it looks like this. So I know they are different because they have separate names. Similarly, in our code, we have a tag called img. Now you can have more than one img tag in a web page. Obviously, if you're showing 10 images, then you will have 10 img tags. And now which img tag I want to touch? I want to touch this img tag with the ID image1. So that is what I am doing here in JavaScript. So when this line of code is executed by the browser, okay, or by the server, okay, so this information about this img tag, this specific img tag information, like a handle, you know, and if you've done some C programming, you talk about like pointers or something. Okay, this is not the same. This is not the same. But just giving you an example. Okay, so information about that specific img tag will go and sit in this variable, which means if we want to do some manipulation, we can use it using this variable, because this variable temp image1 has all the details we need about this img tag. So all that information, like a handle, is now stored, available in the variable temp image1. Because why? We are using the assignment operator. So the assignment operator will take something from one side and put it to the other side. All right. That is what is happening in that one single line. So much to understand here in that one line. I'm repeating it again and again because this is the first time you're seeing JavaScript. I'll not go so deep again and again, but today I do want to do that. All right. So now I have a handle on that img tag with the ID image 1. So what do I want to do? Now let's look at our example output again. So I have my example output here. So what I'm trying to do here is, now this is my img tag, which is showing one image. When I click on it, I want it to change. So that is what I want to do. So how does that work? So let's look at our example code and try to understand that. So I'm going to open my example code here. I have my example code here ready to use, tested and everything. So here I'm doing something, I'm doing something. Look at that. There's so much flying. So let's take the entire code here. So I'll take this code and I will put this code here. Okay. So again, we have to go one by one. That is what we have to do. But before we can do that, there is one small change we have to do. Now the thing is, you understand that on my example, now in my original example, I have two images, one of this girl on the beach and another one of this coconut tree in the beach. So I have two images. Whereas in my current code, I only have the code for my panda image. The image of a panda eating some bamboo. I suppose pandas eat bamboo, so I only have that one image right now. So where is the second image? So for that, we'll have to go to assets. Now assets, let me move my screen to the right a little bit. 1 second, because you can't see it because my camera is blocking that button. So let me move this. Come on. Yeah, there you go. So if those of you who are practicing in CodePen, you see here in the bottom left corner next to console, you have an option called assets. Okay, that is where we keep our assets. So I have one image already, so I want the second image as well. So I'm going to go to assets. The assets window will come. And then here I want this image. Yeah, panda looking very, very sad, like isolated. So we created this image yesterday. So I'm going to copy the URL. Again, when you are working with image tags, we'll need URLs of the image. So I got the image URL. Now I'm going to, let me move this back to the left side. Yes, and the output on the right side. And I'll go to my JavaScript and I will go ahead and put that, let's see here. Perfect. I'll explain why I'm doing like that. I will explain it. Okay. Let me take the asset source of this here and I will put this here. I will explain why I am doing like this. 1 second. And I will, okay, I will explain why I'm doing like this in 1 minute. Let me just save this file here. Let me just go and confirm this is correct. So I have Vasil Stansu here and here. I have Christo here. Similarly, I have Panda Food here, and I have Panda Self here. So that's good. So far, so good. So let me just save this. Okay, I'm just gonna save this, and I'll reload this page, and let me see if this works. Okay, yeah, it's working. There we go. All right, it's working. All right, we got it. So look, let's look at the output side by side. So I'm gonna keep this one. This is the original on the left side. This is what we are practicing on the right side. This is my original. So when I click on it, the photo changes between the smiling girl in the ocean to this coconut tree in the ocean. So that is already working. On the right side is what we are practicing. We got a panda eating some bamboo, and now it's a panda very sad. Bamboo panda, sad panda. Bamboo panda, sad panda. So the output is getting the way we wanted. Now, how did I make it happen? Now, that is why you are listening to this class. You need to know how we got this. And when you learn this, you'll get an idea about how JavaScript works. So let's go to our session here. Let's go to a session code. So this is what is happening. So I added this line of code, and then I did some copy paste, some image, something I did, and I got the output. So as always, let's go one code at a time and understand what is happening here. Okay. Now I'm going to go deep. So those of you who are completely new, yes, you will definitely learn how to use this, what is happening. Those of you who know a little bit of JavaScript, please have patience with me. Okay. So first thing is, let's look at this line. So I have this line. Let me go to my PowerPoint here. I want to go line by line. I like that technique of going line by line because that is when you really understand, okay, what exactly is happening, how it is happening and all that. So first line is this. Okay. So now you already know temp image 1 is the variable. Okay, we just talked about it. Temp image 1 has the information about the img HTML DOM element. It has all the information, so we can manipulate. Okay, so now what we are doing here is we are saying we are grabbing that person, we are grabbing that variable, and that variable has a function called on click. Now you know what on click, when I say on click, when you click, like on click. So when someone clicks, on click, right? It's very simple, on click, when someone clicks. Okay, so what I'm saying is, okay, whenever anybody clicks on that image, simple. Okay, so this contains the information about the img tag, and as I told you guys, everything is object in JavaScript. If I hadn't told you, then I'm telling you again. And you have built-in functions and you have user-defined functions. So now there are many built-in functions. We are not going to talk about all those built-in functions. We'll only be learning what we need. And right now I know about this built-in function called onClick. We are using it here. So what I'm saying is, okay, anytime this image is clicked, go to this function. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I am saying anytime this image, something happens to this image, right now what I want is, I am thinking about click. So anytime someone clicks on the image, I want to call a function. That is what is happening here. So three things are happening. Image, something about the image. Click, when that image is clicked, you call the function. That's it. Okay, so when you click, you call a function. Now, what is a function? Yesterday we talked about built-in functions, user-defined functions. So now a function in programming, now I think this is the first time you will be talking about functions, right? So what is a function? A function is like a component. Now to use a real life example, now again I'll take my Apple mouse here. And what is the function of this Apple mouse? It will help me move the cursor. If I want something, I'll click, I'll do left click, I'll do right click, I'll do all kind of clicks with this mouse. And I have my keyboard here. And I got my, I keep telling you, and those of you who come regularly, I talk about my Japanese keyboard my friend gifted me. Okay, it's a keyboard. What is the function of this keyboard? To type. I can type, I can type, I can type. That is the function. Right? I have my microphone here, right? I can't lift my microphone, it's a little big. Yeah, here you go. Another thing. So I have my Mac keyboard here, right? Again, what is the function? To type into my Mac computer. That's what it does. So a function in a code, in programming, is to do something specific. Okay, you want to do something, a code, then you write a function. So if this mouse is a function, then its job is to do mouse click. This keyboard job is to click mouse. Similarly, right now in coding, whenever you want some work to be done, you'll write one part of code, one block of code, one area of code. You can think of it like a bag of code or a purse of code, whatever, something that is like in a nice component, nice circle, nice function. It's a function. It does something and you write it like that. So that is a function. So as I said, you have built-in functions, you have user-defined functions. So here this onClick is a built-in function, and that is available for this variable which has information about the img tag. And whenever someone clicks, I want something to happen, and whatever that something, I want to put it in a box, I want to put it in a bag. That bag is called function. Now this function, I am writing it, it's not built in, which is why it is called user-defined functions. Okay, two types of functions: built-in functions, user-defined functions. Built-in functions already available. User-defined functions depends on your project. Right now I want to write a function to decide what will happen when onClick happens. Okay, it's like an event. We'll talk about events in a future class. Okay, I don't want to give all the technical words in one class. I don't want to do that. I want to slowly introduce you to these concepts one by one, and so that one day you are like events, triggers, API, blah blah blah, you'll know all the words and you'll be like, boom, you're a web programmer. Okay, so we'll talk about events some other time. So function, it's like a bag of code which has one job, like this mouse, like this another mouse, like this keyboard. Okay, all right. So This line is image, click, do something. Okay, that's what this line is all about. So let's go to the next line. So now you have this bracket. See, you know how in HTML I talked about opening tags and closing tags and all that. So similarly with functions also, you will have a opening tag and a closing tag. Okay, that is standard. Okay, so here in this code you have an opening bracket and a closing bracket, or you may call them braces. Opening braces, closing braces. Okay, so that is what those brackets are. Now next, let's look at this line of code. So again, I'm doing something. So let me put that here. Okay, this is like opening bracket and closing bracket. You know, this is like an area, you know, defining the area. Let me just type that in. Defining the area of the function, right? So now next line is this. Okay, all right. Now this is something you already seen before. Yes. Now let's do a quick comparison here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See here. Look at this. Let me copy this. You know, let me copy this. See, this and this look same. Look at that. They look same. Look at this. So they both. Let me just add some colors here. I like colors. So you know, let me just. Oops, sorry. Let me just put this here. We take some colors for this also. Now if you look at these two things, okay, now you see here there is something called let. Here also there is something called let, and here you have a name, variable name. Now variable name is something you give. It is you decide the name. So they are similar but they are not identical. So this is a variable name, this is a variable name. So same equals, same. Again, temp image 1 document. See here, temp image 1 is a variable, but in JavaScript everything is an object. This is an object, this is an object. Same. Now you are calling a built-in function. Now here you are doing some work. You are using a function called get attribute. Here you are doing some other work. You are using a function called get element by ID. Okay, so but again the spelling is different, but functions, okay, same. And here again you're using this, you know, selector. Remember we talked about selectors. You have to pick something, like this is my Apple mouse, this is my Windows mouse. So you have to pick something. You need a name. So here also you're using a name. Here also you're using a name. ID, you're using an ID. Okay, so they are same, right? So you understand they are both similar sentences. Okay, like this, as you do more and more coding, you'll start noticing that so many things are same with some small differences. Okay, so now what is happening in this line of code? So again, I'm creating a variable called mysrc, and next I'm using this variable called temp image 1, which is of an object. It contains information about the img tag. All right, and I want to get an attribute. Okay, now we know when you talk about built-in function, there are hundreds and thousands of built-in functions. You don't have to learn all of them right now, but you will learn the required things with me. Remember, this is all about basics. Okay, many of you may start making jokes. How many times will this Jay person say basic? Maybe some 1,000 times in every class, but it's okay. All right, so now what is this attribute? You know in English you use the sentence, hey, look at that person's attributes. Whoa, look at this computer's attributes. Oh, that is a very big attribute. Okay, now what is an attribute? An attribute is a property or a feature of something or some person. You know, like if you have a peacock, what is a peacock's attributes? All those, you know, colorful, I don't know what it's called, wings, I think. All right, no, that's an attribute of a peacock. You look at a dog, you know, attribute of a dog. You know, a dog is like friendly. It's an attribute of a dog. Or a cat. A cat is always like, okay, secretive. That's attribute of a cat. So here what we are trying to do is we are using this object called temp image 1, and then we are trying to get the attribute called src. Now let's do something here. Now where have you seen this src? That is the next question. Now why is it src? Why is it not sre? Why is it not sr8, sr1, 2, something else? No, it is src because it is a selector. Okay, now you take this src and we go to the previous page and you see src here. That is the connection. Okay, so what we are trying to do is, in this line I am trying to say, now this temp image one has the handle for this image and I want to get an attribute of that image. Now image will have many attributes, like a dog will have many attributes. A dog can be, like a brown color, it can bark loudly, it can run fast, it can eat a lot. These are all attributes. Similarly, this image has lot of attributes, and right now I am interested in an attribute called src. Now what is src? src, which I'm trying to do in JavaScript, is the src in HTML. And what does the src contain? src contains the image URL. Okay, now that is what I'm interested in. Why is that? Why do I need src? Why do I need that src? Why? Let's go back to our output again. So I have this coconut tree, right? Now this coconut tree is stored somewhere on the internet and it has a URL. So when I click on this coconut tree, that URL is changing to this photo, which is a different photo with a different URL. Same thing here on the panda here. Now this sad panda has a separate URL. Now when I click on it, I'm changing to another panda, a very happy panda, which is another URL. Okay, so hello Krishna, welcome to the class. Hello, good evening. So that is why I'm interested in src, because when I click on it, when I say image is changing, what it really means is the image URL, the source src of the img tag is changing. Okay, let's go back to the time again. So I have my practice code here. So what I'm trying to say is, first let me get the source. Okay, I want to know which image is right now showing on the screen. So to know that, I need the src, I need the URL of the image. So in this line I have received the source of the image. Now once I have the source, I can do something with it. So what is it I'm doing here? So let's go to this line. So what is this? Let's put that in the PowerPoint here. So let me go to another slide here. So this is the next line. So what is happening here? Now in mysrc, I have the URL of my image. So what I'm doing is, I am checking to see if the image is the food panda, the food eating panda, or is it the image of the sad panda. So to check that, I use if. Now this sentence is called a condition. Okay, it is a condition. Now, good evening Priyanka, welcome to the class, welcome. So here I want to check the source of the file with the name of the file I already know. So that is what I'm doing here with if. Now we'll talk about if and conditions and everything later. So here I'm checking, okay, is this image the food panda image, a panda eating bamboo, or is it the image of a sad panda? That is what I'm trying to find out. Okay, so then what is happening? Let's look at this example code here. So then I have this line again, I have opening and closing brackets. Now here, if and else, if you notice here, I have if, and then I have a bracket, closing bracket, and then else. So now I'll talk about if and else. If and else is like decision making, like when you're eating food, you're eating, and every time you eat something, you are asking yourself, is your stomach full or it is not full? Okay, when you're going to a movie, you're watching a movie, you're asking yourself, do you like the movie? Yes. Do you like the movie? No. There are two branches, multiple branches. So if and else is like that. You're trying to find out, okay, is this correct or is that correct? Do you want to go here? do you want to go there? So that's what you're trying to find out. Whenever you want to do some decisions, you use if and else. We'll talk about if and else in detail in a later class. But right now, so what I'm trying to decide is, anytime you click on an image, you're trying to find out which image is that. So that is what I'm trying to do here. So I am saying, okay, if the image which is clicked, if it is food panda, if it is the food panda, the panda eating bamboo, if that is the image, then I am saying change the image to the sad panda. So it's like a decision making. So, you know, the function is on click. So when you click, this function starts. And once you enter the function, you find out the URL of the image. And then you check that URL. And you check that URL and you are like, okay, now this image which you clicked, is that the panda eating bamboo image, or is it the sad panda image? So what happens now here in our if, there are two parts. The first part is, if the image is the image of panda eating bamboo, then change it. Okay, so then change it to the sad panda. If it is not, then do nothing. That is what it says, else. Okay, not do nothing. It means change it from sad panda to panda eating food. Hi Bharat, hi, welcome to the class. Thank you for joining. No worry about it, don't worry about it. So this is what I'm trying to do here. So what I'm trying to say is, you have an image. So let's say the image is this sad panda. So you click on this image and you have this code. You take the image and then you do the click and then you collect the source. So if the image you clicked is sad panda, then it will not go inside if. It will go to else. Why? Because here we are checking, is this a photo of the bamboo eating panda? Because here, because it is not true, you know, if and else, that is not correct. So it will go to else. And else what we do is, we'll change that photo into a panda eating food, and that is what happens. Okay, so now when I click on this, again here this happens and this function is called, and here I'm again collecting the source src, which is nothing but the URL, and here what I'm doing, I'm again checking, is it the photo of a panda eating bamboo? And it is true. So since it is true, this part of the code will be executed. Now what does this code say? It says change the image to sad panda. That's what the code here. So when you click, sad panda is triggered or loaded and so on. So like this, every time you click, you come here to the if. It all depends on this one line. If the image is food panda, then the image changes to sad panda. If the image is sad panda, then the image changes to food panda. If else, if else, if else. Now how do we get into this code? It all happens because of click. Now how does the click know what to do? It knows that because of this variable called temp image1. Now where did temp image come from? Temp image came from here. Now this temp image contains information about this image on the screen. Now how did you get that? Using this line called document get element by ID image1. Now, and questions, right? How did it know this is the image we are talking about? Very simple. You go to HTML and here you have the img tag, which has an ID image1, which is the same tag which you have in JavaScript. So it's all connected, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. It's like a chain, and that is what JavaScript is. You know, it's like a chain. One goes to second, next goes to second, next goes to second, next goes to second, and you write this. You think all this every time you have to write some code. Now, it looks complicated, and it probably is. You know, if you're coming in for the first time, then this is definitely going to be very, very complicated. Okay, But anyway, that is JavaScript, that is programming, that is JavaScript, and that is what we are trying to teach you here. Now it will be complicated, it is going to be tricky, but yeah, there you go, that is what we are trying to do. So ultimately what happens is I have this area, this space, okay, it is an img tag, and for this space, this space here on the screen, this entire space, I give it a name called image1, okay, and then I use that name image1 and I get a handle. That handle is temp image1. Now from that handle I want to do something. When you click, it's raining, it's raining, it's raining. Okay guys, one second, give me a minute. Sorry folks, sorry. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I hope the internet is still working. Testing. Okay, I think it is still working. Okay, alright. So here in our town we get amazing rains, and whenever it rains it's a bit of a complication. So I have to kind of go and close the window, but it's okay. We are all good now. So I have this area here, which is the img tag. The img tag has a name called image1. Using that name, I collect a variable called temp image1, and then using that temp image1, I have a click, and that click is connected to this function. And in this function, what I'm doing, first I'm collecting the URL of the image, and then I'm doing a if. What is an if? If is like a, whereas when you compare this and that, you compare. So here I'm comparing, okay, whenever you click, what is the URL of the image? If that image is food panda, the panda eating food, then change the image to the sad panda. But if it is not photo of the panda eating food, then change the photo from sad panda to the food panda. So that is what we are trying to do with JavaScript. Now that is all I want to teach today, because this itself, I believe, especially if you're a newcomer, this itself might have sounded very complicated. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to kind of quickly change the photos. I will have one more image which changes. Okay, that is what I'm going to do now. So you follow along, and then we'll wrap up this class. Okay, and I strongly recommend those of you who are doing JavaScript for the first time, try and re-watch this episode again and again till you're able to do this on your own without on your own. That is what I would like you to do. Okay, so let's kind of repeat this all with one other image set. Okay, that is what I'm going to do right now. So let me go here. So what I want is, I want one more image, so I'll go to my HTML. Okay, so as usual, I will put a horizontal line. So let me take that here. Okay, horizontal line. Let me see, the horizontal line came. Yeah, the horizontal line. Yes, there you go. We got the horizontal line. Okay, now here I'm going to say first image. I want to put that in a paragraph. So let me take this. So here I'm going to say first image. And now this is the first one, which is already working. Okay, let me see if it comes. Let's see. Yeah, first image. Now I want to do something which is like a second image. I want one more set. So I'll copy this code and I will go ahead and do this. So I have a second image and it is here. So I have a second image. So let me make that second image. Okay. So here, now this one, obviously I'm doing it a second time. So I'm going to do a new ID. I'll call this image2. Now the ID is very important, because if you don't change the ID, then both the images will keep changing. We don't want that. So I'm going to call this image2, and let me get some new images. Let me go to my assets here, and I go to my assets. I have so many images here. Let's see. Yeah, let's take this coffee shop guy. So I'm going to take this coffee shop URL. Okay, all right. So I'm going to put this here. Okay, now save it, and I come here, the coffee shop image should come. There we go, the coffee shop image is here. Now what I want to do is when we click on the coffee shop image, I wanted to change to some other image. So I'll go to my assets again. Let me see this orange lady. Yes, this orange lady. Let's go here, copy as URL. Okay, so now I have a second image also. So I'll go to my JavaScript. So here what I want to do is this entire thing I want a copy. So I'll paste this here and then I'll take the entire image, entire code and paste it. So now the ID is image2 for the second set of images. So I'll call this image2 and then I'll call this variable also 2. So now we have two separate variables, two separate IDs. So all the information about the second image, the coffee image, will come and sit in this variable. So now we want to do click again. So this variable, take it here and there you go. And now this function is now triggered, created. Okay, so what we want to do here, I want to take the source. So I will say, okay, let this be, get me the source. And here I'm going to check, okay, now in the source, I want to check if it is the coffee image. If it is the coffee image, I want to change it to that orange girl image. If it is the orange girl image, I want to change it back to coffee image. So first I will put the coffee image URL. So where is that? It's in HTML. So we go here and we take this coffee image and put it here. Why? Because I want to check. I want to check when I click, is it the coffee image or is it the orange girl image? That is what I want to check. And if it is the coffee image, I want to change that into the orange girl image, which is here. This is the URL for the orange girl, which we just copied from the assets section. All right. And this is for the changing from coffee to orange girl, and this is for changing from the orange girl to coffee. So here we have to put the coffee image URL. So I'll take this here and I'll put that here. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, all right, now I need to make sure that I'm using the correct variable, all right, object. So it's all good. So let's give it a go. So I have saved it. It's reloading. I'll go here. There we go. Let's see. There we go. And yes, there we go. Coffee guy, orange girl, coffee guy, happy panda, sad panda, happy panda, sad panda, sad panda, happy panda. Same thing, coffee guy, orange girl, coffee. So that is your very simple introduction to JavaScript. And with that, I am going to kind of wrap up. Now if you go back to our example original output, now look at this. This is our practice output, original output. We have the girl in the beach. Click on it, it becomes a coconut tree. You click on it, the girl is back. Same wise, coffee guy, click, changes to this orange girl changes to coffee guy. Happy panda becomes sad panda, and sad panda becomes happy panda. This is what we wanted to learn in this chapter of very basic JavaScript. Now I just taught that to you. I hope you're able to learn this. Now JavaScript can be confusing, especially in the beginning, so you may want to watch this episode again on YouTube so you can practice. Okay, now with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm trying to keep these sessions to somewhere between 40 to 50 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can leave the questions here in the chat. The best thing to do is you please go to our website. Our website is, let me just type it again, baribasic.com. That is our website address. If you go to our website, we have something called as Discord. This is the best place for you to ask questions. Okay, Discord is where you can ask a lot of questions. It's like a group. So it's like a group, you can come and ask questions and everything. You can do whatever you want. And of course, our online textbook, YouTube channel, and Instagram channel, and Twitch channel. So please make sure you're following those things. And if you have any questions, type it in. I'll stay on the line for a few minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you on Monday. So today is Wednesday. This is the last session for today. I will see you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.